Hey Blake, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. You do anything fun this weekend?
Yeah, me and some of my friends, we went out and played some tennis and went bowling and watched a movie afterwards. Yeah, I had just a good old time.
That's awesome. So, how are these friends? I know you've had some friends in the past that, weren't so well behaved and everything. You think these guys are good for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, these guys are way better than the last friends that I had. I mean, they don't do much of anything rebellious. I mean, the most that they would do that would be rebellious would be vaping.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that they're pretty good for you. They don't seem to make too much trouble. Are you vaping with them when you go out?
Yeah, I'd say that I vape every now and then, just socially mostly. Like I would don't vape like throughout the day. I don't depend on it. Just whenever I'm around them, I try and vape. Just have a good time, and it makes me feel good. Allows me to release some tension. So
Yeah. So, how do you feel about your own personal vaping habits?
I would say, for the most part, I have a pretty healthy relationship with it. I mean, I've always been able to manage it well, and I think that I can manage it to the best of my capabilities and just do it socially. I don't bring it to work or school or anything. So yeah, I'd say I have a pretty healthy relationship with it.
So, you don't really feel like you have a dependence on the nicotine or anything?
Well, no, I'm not dependent on it, but whenever I'm out of school and out of work, I find myself craving it every now and then. Just in my free time, whenever I'm, hanging out with friends or just in my room playing games, I find myself craving that hit of nicotine.
Okay, I see. Um, can you tell me a little bit about the last time that you vaped? Maybe it was this weekend with your friends.
Yeah, it was this weekend. It's typically, you can get a little bit nauseous from it every now and then because the nicotine just causes you to feel nauseous. But I generally think the benefit afterwards of the euphoric feeling you get, the ease, the muscle relaxation that you feel typically outweighs that nausea that you could feel.
Mm-hmm. So you'd say that you feel better when you're buzzed than when you're sober?
Mm, I wouldn't say I really feel better per se, but it is a relaxing feeling for sure, and I crave it mostly. It's more of a craving than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
So when you give into that craving, would you say it's worth it to give into that craving?
in the moment, it seems worth it, but in a sober state, not really. I wouldn't say it's actually worth it.
Mm-hmm. So it seems like you're just kind of you're willing to risk knowing that it makes you kind of feel gross sometimes
Hmm.
because you expect something but you don't necessarily get that desired result most of the time.
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so how do you feel about the effects of the nicotine instead of on your body? How about like your bank account? How is that looking?
Oh, well, that's where it's really bad. If the sickness isn't bad, the money that you put into it's really bad. I mean, it costs like $12 to buy four of the pods for my vape. Um, and yeah, I've been struggling a lot just as a college student financially with that. But
Mm. Yeah, so it can get a little bit expensive, and I know that nicotine seems a little bit more tame than like alcohol or drugs
oh yeah,
might, but I mean it still is addictive and it still is expensive. Are there any drawbacks that you can think of to your vaping habit?
definitely. I mean, like I was saying, that the sickness would be a pretty big drawback. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and when you really think about it, the sickness plus the amount that you're paying to get a nicotine buzz, all of those things combined, really outweigh the little bit of buzz you feel for maybe an hour. Now that I'm thinking of it, the 30 minutes to an hour that you feel the nicotine buzz.
Yeah, so I mean, are you kind of weighing in those drawbacks and kind of comparing them? You think that maybe it would help you? The benefits would outweigh the drawbacks of nicotine, and you might want to work towards maybe weaning yourself off of it or eliminating your nicotine dependence altogether.
Yeah, now that we're talking about it, yeah, I really do think that the benefits of not vaping would outweigh the benefits of vaping any day of the week, financially, um, and most definitely with the way that you feel during before it, the sickness you could feel, the nausea.
Mm. So if you, for example, didn't stop vaping, what do you think, like worst case scenario, where do you think you might end up?
Mhm. If I didn't stop,
Right.
I really could probably end up in the hospital if you think about it. I know I've heard a lot of news articles about the popcorn lungs coming out with the scarring of your lungs from vaping, and there's not really been too much research on the long-term health effects with vaping. There has obviously with smoking, but not vaping. So, um, who knows what could be the result if I don't stop?
Hmm. So if you did stop, what do you think your life would look like? How would it be different?
Well, I definitely have more money in my account. Um, Other than that, yeah, there's no question as to the fact that I would be healthier overall. I mean, I also enjoy running a lot. I do a lot of distance running, and ever since starting, I've noticed that my time for running has gone up tremendously. I mean, I used to be able to run a mile in 6 minutes, 30 seconds. Now I'm running it in about 7:15. And, now that I think about it, it could be because I've started vaping here lately. Maybe my lungs aren't as strong as they used to be.
Hmm. Yeah, those are all really good points. So if you're willing, I think that maybe our next session we could kind of go over some different coping mechanisms if you were to kind of start to limit that
Mm,
nicotine intake, and if you were to feel any kind of withdrawals or need any kind of assistance with any kind of resources to help you quit.
mm,
I think if you're willing, I think we can make a plan for that for next time.
definitely. I think that would really be good for me overall. Yeah, quitting is definitely the best option. I don't think it's something that I should stick to long term by any means.
Awesome. Well, I think that you've definitely got this, and I have a lot of hope in your future. And I think that we're going to work together and we're going to be really successful with this.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in. I'll see you next time.